BTS News Today. The news shook the entertainment world of South Korea, especially for the army around the world. BTS member Jungkook reportedly burst into tears after hearing the shocking news about his best friend and bandmate Park Jimin. Not only that, this news increasingly made the public transfixed when reports said that Jimin was now in the hospital in a condition that is not known for certain. The situation made many soldiers feel anxious, confused, and keep guessing what is really going on between these two idols who are known to be very close to each other. This story stems from a cryptic post that appeared in one of South Korea's online communities, where fans often share rumors, information, and current events from celebrities. The post said Jimin had been rushed to the hospital the night before after experiencing a serious condition. Not long after, this news spread very quickly on Twitter, Weverse, to TikTok. Many claimed to have seen an ambulance coming to one of the filming locations and carrying someone who was suspected to be Jimin. However, since there was no official statement from HYB's agency at the time, everyone could only speculate. But a few hours after the news came out, netizens were even more surprised when reports emerged that Jungkook was seen leaving his military training camp suddenly. This information immediately becomes the center of attention. How can an active soldier get permission to go out in such urgent conditions unless something really important happens? Not a few immediately associated it with the news that Jimin was being treated in the hospital. Conjecture after conjecture began to emerge, and the army began to piece together pieces of information from various sources to find out the truth, from various leaks circulating. It is known that Jungkook looked very emotional while in the hospital room where Jimin was being treated. Some hospital staff who did not want to be named. Doctors say that they saw a young man with a typical military haircut who was constantly crying and holding the hand of a bedridden weak patient, although his face was partially covered by a mask and a hat. But the camera highlights of fans and witnesses said that it was indeed Jungkook. One source said that Jungkook's crying was so heartbreaking, it was as if he was blaming himself for what had happened. The words that were recorded faintly from his mouth made goosebumps. "I should have been there. I promise I won't leave you again, Hyung." This sentence made many soldiers wonder whether there was a misunderstanding between the two or maybe an emotional breakup before this incident. Meanwhile, Jimin's condition is still a mystery. Some say that he experienced extreme fatigue and mental health disorders due to the pressure of work and longing for the other BTS members who are undergoing military service. As one of the members who has not returned to military training, Jimin has been busy with various individual activities lately. Some speculations say that Jimin is under tremendous pressure because he has to maintain the spirit and existence of BTS in the midst of this transition period. In fact, in some of his recent interviews, Jimin several times showed emotional gestures and implied a sense of loneliness. Sometimes, the night feels longer than usual. "I miss them all," Jimin said in an earlier interview as he looked down, hiding his teary eyes. Now, the speech feels even more heartbreaking when it is associated with events that have just happened to him. The news of Jungkook crying in the hospital immediately became a trend in various countries. On Twitter, the hashtags #StayStrongJimin and #JungkookCrying occupied the top positions of trending topics globally. The fans showed great solidarity, not only to Jimin who was being treated, but also to Jungkook who seems to be hit hard by his friend's condition. Many fans wrote messages of encouragement with love and hope that the two could return to smiling as before. "I know you are strong, but it's okay to cry, Jungkook. We are always here to support you. Jimin, get well soon. The world needs your smile again." Write an army from Indonesia. On the other hand, a fan account from Brazil uploaded a collage of sweet photos of Jungkook and Jimin's interactions throughout the year, with touching captions. "Your friendship is one of the most precious things in the world." Until now, HYBE has not issued an official statement regarding Jimin's health condition. However, it is rumored that they are preparing a press conference or at least will provide written clarification to quell the widespread panic. The silence from the agency actually makes many people wonder more and more about the seriousness of this situation. Because usually, for things that are not so crucial, HYBE is quite fast in providing clarification. In the midst of all this excitement, news also emerged that V and RM had contacted the hospital, and even planning to ask permission to visit directly. Although they are also carrying out military duties, it seems that the members are very worried about Jimin's condition. In fact, Jimin, who had just completed one of his activities, reportedly contacted the management immediately upon hearing the news. Jungkook himself is still rumored to be near Jimin. He has not yet returned to his military unit and received a special dispensation to accompany his friend. Some fans waiting outside the hospital stated that the atmosphere was so quiet and full of tension. There was no laughter, no sound, just a look on his face full of anxiety and hope. Although many felt worried, the army still showed a positive spirit and strengthened each other. The Weverse group and online forums are filled with prayers, support, and fond memories of Jimin and Jungkook. Some fans even held a prayer event together online. Hope their positive energy can reach their idols who are struggling. The story becomes even more touching as it not only highlights the emotional closeness between the two BTS members, but it also illustrates how strong the bond of a family is formed not from blood, rather than a long journey together in joy and sorrow. Jungkook and Jimin have gone through a lot together, from their debut to the peak of global success. Now, in one of these low points, the world can see how sincere and deep the love between them is. In an old video that went viral again, Jimin once said, "Jungkook is not just a brother to me, he is part of my soul." Now, that sentence feels so real when Jungkook looks like he can't hold back his tears by Jimin's bed. The world awaits the good news. The world is waiting for Jimin's smile to return. And above all, the world is witnessing how love and loyalty can thrill even in tearful silence. This story may continue to roll on, but one thing is for sure, ARMY will always be with BTS in joy and sorrow, in laughter and tears. Jungkook and Jimin are not just idols. They are hope, inspiration, and proof that in this fast-paced and often cruel world, there is still room for true love. The news of Jungkook crying next to Jimin in the hospital has spread so fast, not only among K-pop fans, but also in the international media spotlight. CNN Entertainment, Billboard, Rolling Stone, and Japanese and European media highlighted how this incident showed the most human side of global stars like BTS. Many headlines use phrases like heartbreaking scene, emotional breakdown, and brotherhood beyond music. To illustrate the situation between Jungkook and Jimin, one of the articles from The Guardian highlighted how the emotional closeness between BTS members was never a gimmick or simply an image that the agency formed, rather than the reality that the world is now witnessing. The article said that while the world is getting colder and individualistic, BTS actually shows the depth of emotions, empathy, and solidarity that is not found in many other entertainment industries. Meanwhile, on Weverse, a community of fans from all over the world share their stories. Many expressed how they cried when they learned of Jimin's condition and saw how devastated Jungkook was. One of the Army of the Philippines wrote, "When I saw the video of Jungkook grasping Jimin's hand and looking down while crying, I cried at work. Their relationship is something very beautiful, and it touches anyone's heart." In fact, a medical worker at the hospital where Jimin was treated secretly gave his testimony to the Korean media. He said that when Jungkook came, he looked very confused, like someone who had lost his way. He didn't say much. He just said, "I have to see it now." As he entered Jimin's room, he immediately fell to his knees beside the bed. He didn't scream, but his tears continued to flow. "We can all just sit and watch it," said the nurse with teary eyes.
Come up from the basement, 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't